But this is from the book of Enoch, and it actually talks about the one angel that taught mankind how to war. So it's synonymous with Mars. And he was put in a place called Duadel. And Azazel was the one that taught how to make war by making knives and swords and so forth. He's actually the one closest related to Mars in the whole story. Now, Duadel means cauldron of God. And this is Iapetus. Now, Richard Hoagland has done much work on the images that came from Clementine, I think it's Clementine, that went around Saturn and actually viewed this. Now, Clementine was around the moon, it escapes me, but one of the satellites that came past this moon took some amazing pictures. You'll see this bilateral ridge. It runs right along the equator. It's 31,000 feet high. This moon is only about a third the size of ours, and you'll notice, interestingly, that it's faceted. Regular facets. And it's Richard Hoagland's contention that this is artificial. On one side of it, I've greatly enhanced this picture. It's so black that only 5% of the ambient light reflects off of it. And then the other side's so brilliant that it overpowers the irises of the cameras when they go by. This is another word, orca, for Hades or Hades or Pluto in the Greek. The god of the underworld was also called Orca. And the reason for this is the idea that Hades had this huge mouth, but the interior was even greater than the actual portal for all the evil dead to fall. You'll notice this huge impact crater site, which Hoagland has actually said, look, there's still facets here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, octagonal. And then you have this anomalous ridge. It really doesn't look natural. Could it be an actual prison for these beings, deemed too powerful and too malignant to have any sort of power over the solar system, at least for a time? And what's amazing is it wouldn't just be a place for that one angel, but also these hordes of angels that were under him in this hierarchy. As Enoch 54 actually explains, it was being prepared, this chain that actually holds these things in place, these beings and this sort of power that is sort of intangible and hard to actually grasp how this could be actually done. But Enoch says that they were prepared for the host of Azazel and that they're cast into this plate, into this place of commendation. Moving on to the actual ancient references for the beings that Enoch is talking about, you'll see that the ones that actually fit this idea of burning and fire and Mars are called seraphim. And the planet they're associated with here is Mars. And that's exactly what Richard Hoagland was saying. He said that Mars was a moon that orbited a planet that actually occupied where the asteroid belt is, and that it exploded, and that there was also other vessels for transporting the beings of this destroyed planet, and Iapetus is one of them. I submit that it is actually a prison for seraph. And it says, interestingly enough, these seraph beings here, this is actually a transliteration of this symbol in hieroglyph for the word for seraphim. And you see interesting portions of Exodus here, where the seraphs that were actually the biting, the murmuring tribes of Israel were cured when Moses put this seraph, that's actually the translation, on his staff. And here, it looks like a griffin. Well, it looks like a cherubim with locust wings. Oh, and I might add, what is this? Revelation 9:1-3, and the fifth angel sounded, the fifth planet from the sun is Mars. And I saw a star from heaven fall into the earth. In the literal Hebrew is that not just fallen, but actually this distance is actually closed. So it doesn't actually mean that it had to fall. And there's given to him a key of the pit of the abyss, Abusos. And smoke opened from the pit, and the air was darkened by reason of the smoke, and these locusts came out, and they had 5 months of power over the people of earth. It's not a pretty sight, but interestingly enough, the resources that I've run across point to a literal event, a literal invasion, not something that we can prevent, not something that we can reason away. Full disclosure is almost something that doesn't need to be the focus, because whether or not we come to any conclusion or our governments explain what's going on, the events are going to come about anyway. Now, getting back to what is it that these things are fighting about? Why would they go to such trouble to focus on our Earth, this one little teeny rock in an incredible vastness of space? Well, you take the superimposition again of the heaven and earth. Here's the anchor at Sirius at the prime meridian. And here's 33 degrees, or even just 30 degrees, you find Taurus. And here's the Pleiades. Amazingly, right here, you have the Taurus Mountains. Right there. And here is Israel and Cydonia. And there's the Pleiades right there, and the Hyades. In Revelation, it talks about the 7 stars in the right hand of the one that John saw, and here he's sitting among. These are the symbols of Israel itself now, this 7-branch menorah. And here is the Pleiades up close. And here is Cydonia. Do that again. Could it be that focus of what these are representing is also on earth? That there's something about whoever built these, something about the message here that is still embedded and intact in our ancient history and our myth and our religious doctrine. Now, you can focus using the history and the religious doctrine in the Bible, of course, and also the extra-biblical text of Enoch, and it actually says that the Holy Great One, the God that made everything, is supposed to come back from the heavens of heavens, and he's going to judge the watchers, and he's going to bring them back to the earth. And judgment is on all, except for the righteous. He makes peace. They belong to God. And in Isaiah, it talks about the young lion that comes, and when he comes to Mount Zion, where the temple is built, or will be built. This is the prophecies say that the temple is supposed to be built again. It hasn't existed since 70 AD. And it's interesting because it talks about it in almost a ufological format. As birds flying, so will be the Lord of hosts, defending Jerusalem, defending also will he deliver it, passing over it. He will preserve it.